Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, this morning we are talking a bit about education. Now, it seems that school repairs has plagued Trinidad and Tobago for a long, long time, both on a national and even a local level here in Tobago. On a national level, we heard just a few days ago the Minister for Education, Dr. Nian Gaspridoli, saying that there simply isn't enough money to repair all schools, and during the summer vacation they had to prioritize which schools they could fix, leaving a number of schools out in the cold. In Tobago, we have had our own issues here, and this morning, as we talk about what that return to school has looked like, I have the privilege of sitting in studio with the Tutor Tobago President, Mr. Bradon Roberts. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, it's Tobago officer. We have one president in our
Right,
association. Yes, yeah.
Tobago officer. Well, as I indicated, it seems as though school repairs continue to be a national issue. Every year when it's time for school to be reopened, you hear some schools complaining about not being ready to fully reopen. As I indicated in my preamble, there was extensive conversations happening at the ministerial level with the Minister for Education indicating that resources are simply just enough. And if we're having these resource challenges at a national level, we can only imagine what is happening at the level of the THA. So from your perspective, at the tutor level, how was this back to school reopening from your standpoint?
Right, so I'm grateful from the angle in which you started the conversation, in that the resources is not that we wake up July, August and realize we didn't have enough funds. So by the time the financial year begins, you should start getting an insight as to what kind of feedback we got from the last repair program, what kind of budget we really need for the upcoming July, August. So you have from September all the way to the next July, August. So the submission of lack of funds, it's not that it should be a surprise. So you need to know what to prioritize. We see things happening in both Trinidad and Tobago where we are wondering where the priority is. There are some unnecessary money being spent in various other spaces. And for me, education is the backbone. Education is the purpose of education is to provide fitting citizens for our country. And it then says that the society is a reflection of our education system. And we having the rise in crime, we having the high levels of the corruption and all these things which does not reflect well on education. So to say that September morning we didn't have money is unacceptable. We need, I know that the THA been advocating for funds, and we've been having the dialogue with central government offering and so on, but when you're in power, when you're in the position, your duty is to find a way. And I just want to comment on the highly irresponsible statement of the minister. It is what it is never a statement just come out of a leader's mouth. For me, I would use that for me positively. So when I have this overwhelming and it's exhausting, and the teachers coming down on their union for not representing and so on, I understand that's my job. It is what it is, applies there. But you don't tell the people you're providing a service to, it is what it is. That is highly unacceptable. So I know that the resource issues have been that submission for several years, but when you're in the leadership position, you need to know how you prioritize and how you prepare, and you have a budget that is done September. You have several months before July, August to put things in place, and that's not the excuse that we're going to be accepting.
Right. And as you indicated, the minister indeed did say that it is what it is and she can only do what she can do. She also indicated that it is not that they do not want to fix all the schools, but the resources just are not available. In quoting the figure, she indicated that for the financial year, they have a allocation of or a budget of, I believe, $5 billion. Let me just get it fit. Five. Yes, she indicated they have a. She explained that of the $5 billion, $3 billion was spent in salaries, while $3 billion is what is requested from all of the schools in total for the school repairs. So there just isn't sufficient funds to go around for everyone. And as you indicated, it's not that when school closes is when they know, okay, next year we have that this is the amount of money that is usually needed. But that's an issue for them at the cabinet level to begin to reallocate funds from, as you say, some of the projects that are not as important to make sure that education is at the center of development, not just in Tobago, but on the national level, because what happens at the central government also sets the precedence for a lot of what we tend to experience here in Tobago, because it is reflected in what is allocated for the THA.
Right. So, but while I hear that, and I would agree to a point that that is a significant issue. As I said before, when you're in leadership position is to find a solution. So we have submitted to the division, just as with the ministry. You see the Adopt a School program where you invite businesses to partner with schools. You would not be able to get businesses to just throw money at schools without understanding what the program of the school is, what particular project we're really working on to really enhance education. So if we have Scarborough Secondary School program being shown to businesses and see where these businesses can actually assist with the program of the school, you will likely get persons to invest in some of the things. So you know that
Right.
the government would not be able to carry education on its own.
But I would think that you're a part of the management board for the Division of Education, because I believe that tomorrow at the Magdalena Grand Hotel, that's exactly what they're doing. The secretary was here just a few days ago indicating that they have a charity event tomorrow at Magdalena Grand Hotel, where they would be making presentations, just as you suggested, to businesses on the type of projects and proposals that are needed. Because as we can agree, the resources from a governmental level are just not enough. The private sector now has to step in and play a role in developing education. From your perspective, do you really think that this is something that the business community would be willing to get on board with? And what are some of your ideas for that?
Well, my challenge with what is being said here is we're doing it back to front. We need to get the programs of the schools. I don't know what they're going to present to the business sector, but we need to get the programs of the schools. And I don't know that the programs of the schools will put together because we need that same thing for another project that we're working on. I don't know that we assessed the offerings of our secondary schools or primary schools to then have something presented. So I don't know if it's an initial meeting just to engage them and give them an idea as to what we're going to come with in the future. But it has to be done in a systematic way, where the businesses will know the project of each school. So I don't know that those projects for schools were packaged because we need it for something else and we don't have it there. And then you engage the business sector. So I'm grateful that there is the initial reaching out to the business sector, but it would need more than that because we want action and we don't want meetings. And I go to the division pretty often, and I go to the division with my research. I go with my suggestion, my recommendation. I don't ever go there empty-handed to complain about stuff. But it has to be more than meetings. We have to get the action going. So yes, I appreciate that if there is that start, but the background work that is needed, because as I said before, businesses will not just throw money at something. They need to understand what the project is, what the program is, and that's where you're going to get the buy.
Okay, right. And was Tutor Tobago satisfied with this year's school reopening?
Well, in terms of the satisfaction, I would say this time around, I am very grateful for the professional relationship that we were able to maintain with the secretary and, well, the division and tutor. Normally around this time when there's the banter in the media and so on, well, I would have made it clear, even to the secretary, it's not my intention to have a banter and we talk strain back and forth. We need to have things resolved. So the professional relationship with the secretary and I would have been maintained. I'm pleased with that. I have been visiting the schools. I will share the information with the secretary. I will see where there's the response. There'll be the report where persons would have come into the school afterwards to try and attend to some of the issues. So I am pleased with that. The furniture shortage, though, is a significant one, and I'm hoping that all efforts are in the background to have it achieved or attained to be distributed to the schools as quickly as is possible, because I have visited some of the schools, and I mean, there's some students standing up, there are some students sharing a chair, sharing a desk with someone else. We have to have the foresight, because some of the information was shared before. But as I say, once you have the professional relationship, there is hope for things to be resolved going forward. I mean, we are not as bad as it is in Trinidad, but I don't compare. We have a standard here that we need to continuously improve, and I have communicated that to the secretary. It is not that we, as an association, going to be comforted because some of the schools better off than the schools in Trinidad. There are some schools that we need to really have at a standard that is conducive to learning, and those information would have been shared with the secretary, who has been quite receptive to the feedback.
All right, excellent. And when it comes to the well-being of teachers this time around, what are you hearing? Because I heard the secretary during our conversation harp on the fact that the well-being of teachers happen to be a key focus moving forward for this year. She even extended her office to have one-on-one meetings with those teachers. So tell us, from those conversations that tutor has been having with the teachers in regards to their well-being, what is happening there?
Well, I've heard the offering of the secretary, and it's something that we would have to look at carefully. I know in the code of conduct, teachers are not to engage with politicians on their matters, as it can be seen as seeking favor. You go through the channel of your supervisor, the administrator, and so forth. However, if the secretary is extending her office, I trust that it will be done responsibly so as to not affect that aspect of the code of conduct. The issues are known, so I'm not certain if it is that tutor is not bringing the issue, so we need to have the office open to teachers to come. The issue of the increments and the gratuity, the same lack of funding is affecting that. So I don't know if the secretary wants to tell the teacher directly that they have no money. The other provisions, the condition of the schools, I would say, in terms of the furniture for teachers, some of the teachers buying their own stuff. Some of the teachers spending their own money with the resources for the school. So if you want to treat with the well-being of our teachers, make sure the primary schools get what they need to get on time, so that they don't have to be spending their own money to be buying stuff. The secondary schools, make sure the allocations are given to the schools on time, so that they have to spend their own money buying stuff. And all the outstanding funds that are owed to our teachers, that's the best way to say about their well-being, to pay them.
Excellent. And the projects for the schools that are going to be presented tomorrow, would you be there at the event to represent tutor?
I believe there may be another event that I may be invited to, but I can't recall seeing any invitation to that event tomorrow. I would have to double check, but I haven't seen. I know the secretary would have mentioned that they were going to have it at a meeting we had in the past, but
Right.
I can't recall seeing an invitation to that event.
Okay.
And I know sometimes they do things in phases, so I don't know.
Understood. Well, I hope that you are there for the presentation of the projects. As you indicated, you're very interested in ensuring that that is available. We want to thank you so much for coming in this morning and giving us a perspective from tutor on how this school reopening for 2024-2025 academic year has been. And I hope to see you at the event tomorrow, because I heard that tutor was invited.
I would have to double check. I can't recall seeing an invitation.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for being here. And, Tobago Updates always welcomes you. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here. We're going to be back right after this. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning.